Hello, my name's Dominic Fonte, and I have the honor to introduce Patrick DeOrio with us. Now, he is the Director of Administration for North Canton City, and this would be part B of the gardening series that we started about a month ago. You can go back and click on the link and check it out. He was trying to help me with some tips on the gardening. And again, this is a wonderful thing. He has such a great skill and a gift being a hobby guy. On his free time, he has such a green thumb, and I'm telling you, you should see his little portable garden he has on his deck. Maybe he'll share a picture with us. But Patrick today is going to explain a little bit about the gardening and some things that I maybe need to improve on. And also, this is a great tool to have for family fun memory. He did it for many years with his girls, and they have fond memories when they reminisce about things, in the garden, Dad's garden. And so this would be a great thing to help supplement the grocery bill, with fruits and vegetables. So let's get started. So Patrick, thanks for taking your time out of your day to come and do part B gardening here in North Canton. So check it out. So Patrick wants to go through my garden here, and I'll follow him, and he'll explain different tips and little things that we need to be aware of and I need to be aware of. So thanks, Patrick, for coming.
Very good, Dom. Hey, one of the things that we talked about the last time was how we could do some multi-cropping and things that are in spaces together that are compatible. And as we go through this here, I'm gonna point out some deficiencies, some things that you didn't think of.
Really, I need deficiencies. All right.
But what you have to think about is not so much in terms of when you plant these things, but what are these things going to look like in 30 days, in 60 days, in 90 days? And if we can, at some point here, turn the camera here, I want to talk about what you got going over here in your garden.
Well, I don't even know in 30 or 60 days. I have tags that say what's supposed to happen, but let's take a look here what you're talking about.
Sure. So what we have right now, looking at it, we've got some curled Italian parsley over here in the corner, and in this other corner we've got some sweet Italian basil, but then over here we've got 2 zucchini plants.
Right.
All right. So one of the things that we're going to talk about is that these zucchini plants are going to get about 4 feet tall. They will completely consume this area and all the light and the minerals and ingredients that we need to get these things to grow. So your parsley and your basil is going to be very diminished in your capacity, what you're going to get out of it, because these guys are going to dominate this area. They shouldn't have been planted together in this way.
Where were you when I planted this garden?
Well, I tried to give you these tips, but I don't know, you do so many things that you probably weren't listening to me. You should have watched the video again. But as we look at this, so just as we talk about this parsley, all right, here's the one thing to learn about all your vegetables. They are genetically engineered by the Almighty to do one thing: reproduce. And so what we have going on here with this parsley is that it's going to seed. That's its genetic function, is to go to seed and reproduce.
Okay.
What you want to do with your parsley, with your basil, your zucchinis, your tomatoes, your peppers, everything that you've got planted here behind us that we'll look at, is you want to trick Mother Nature.
Well, how are we going to do that?
What you're going to do is you're going to clip these seed heads. Because by cutting off the seed heads, you're telling the plant, hey, I haven't grown enough to produce the seed in order to carry on for the next generation. I better grow bigger. And that's what makes your plants grow so well. So your basil here is going to, at some point in the next few weeks, start to send up little seed heads that flower, and it looks pretty, but you got to clip them. You got to cut those off just at the tops. And what you're going to tell the plant to do is grow more, grow bigger. Okay. Same with your zucchinis. So when you get your zucchinis, sometimes you don't pay close attention to them. You grow these baseball bats.
Correct. Right.
What you've done, though, is you've sent the code to the DNA in the plant that says, we've produced enough seed, we can slow down now. You don't want your plants to ever think that. Right.
So, but here's the thing. I just was trying to fit it in here, but I see now I got mushrooms going on.
Yeah, of course it's wet, but what really is just saying is that the way the soil mixed, the chemicals in the soil, the way they're configured right now, it's conducive for mushrooms to grow. So what you really should be doing is you're going to need to do a pH test and another basic chemical test that tells how much phosphorus is in the ground, how much potassium's in there. And you need to know that for your vegetables. If you look at this
Yeah, I
this
see
squash
that.
here.
Yep.
I mean, we're starting to get some yellowing of the leaves.
What does that mean? It could need a little pH?
It's going to need something. It might, most likely it's going to be low in potash. You're going to have to add some of that. There are things that you add that are natural, like bone meal, okay? And you put the bone meal in the ground here around it, and that feeds the roots. Something like this or like corn, the more green, the more leafy it is, the more nitrogen it needs.
Okay.
So this needs to be kind of looked at, and I think that'll solve your problem with the mushrooms. Now, of course, in every seed packet, guys, when you go buy these, and I assume that you went to a nursery, Dom, and
I did,
and
because
it was like a 3-pack, you know.
Right, that's right.
And of course, you know, these guys got to make money, and they don't make any money selling you a seed pack that only has 2 plants in it when there should be 3, right?
Correct.
Because we all pick over those. We don't want to
Right.
do those. So they put multiple seeds in each pack. So here you actually had in your seed pack, in the one space, you had 2 plants growing.
Oh.
So this can't go on this way. So at some point you're going to need to thin and remove one of these plants.
So maybe this will be video C.
Yeah, we can get into that. So as we want to move down though, you know, we've got some dill growing in behind us, and what I love about the dill growing in with the squash is the dill produces all of its stuff that you want to use at the top.
Okay.
So as these plants grow higher, it'll force these plants to grow higher, and you'll still be able to use all the dill weed you want, and eventually they'll go to seed. Now, a lot of people use dill seed to do pickling and stuff. So I was big in making my own pickles.
Right.
And I would grow my own dill seed to make dill pickles. So that's always really good.
Okay, what else do we have here you got to talk about?
Okay. So you did pretty good with the spacing. What I like about this bed that you did here is that when we talked back before, we were looking at probably like 6 pepper plants in this block.
That's right.
And you did 4 of them, and you could still go up to North Canton Engine Repair up there. They're still selling vegetable plants. You could drop 2 more in here yet. Use that space. So and your plants look really good, really healthy. They're starting to get flowers on them.
Okay.
Now with pepper plants, they need a little shot of magnesium.
Okay, where do I get that?
Well, I mean, you're going to have to go to a garden supply store, Home Depot, and you can buy it. But back in the day, I remember using books of matches. There's magnesium in the match heads. Mm-hmm. And I would just stick some of those in the ground. They're made out of cardboard. It disintegrates over time. But that little bit of magnesium gives them a shot. Because what's going to happen is in June, and you'll see it right here. I don't know if the camera can get in and look at this particular one in comparison to this one.
I see it.
See, this one's going to fall off.
It looks like it's half dead.
Yeah, that's normal. With pepper plants, we get into what we call the June drop.
Okay.
They produce a lot of flowers, but so much so that they have to get rid of some of the flowers.
Right.
So some of these will fall off. That doesn't mean your plant's dying. It's just perfectly natural for that to happen.
Okay.
Okay, so we move down the field here. We got some multi-cropping going on. I really love this, Dom.
Multi-cropping.
Yes. So what we're talking about here is we got lettuce growing with tomatoes. Now, what's nice about this, as you know, is that lettuce is a cool weather crop. It's really a spring and fall. But I have found in Ohio that you can extend that growing season if you can kind of get them growing in some shade.
Right.
So as these tomato plants grow up, they're going to provide shade to the ground below, which will allow these lettuces to kind of get nice heads. So you got an oak leaf lettuce here, and that'll make a nice head, and it'll be protected from the sunlight. Because you know, July it gets 90 degrees out. That's not good for lettuce, but you're growing it in a nice shady area.
Good.
So I love that you're doing. I wanted to ask you, did you bury the tomatoes the way we talked about?
I did. I laid
time?
them sideways and brought the root up, and all of a sudden in the last week they really perked up.
They're going gangbusters because that root system is spreading out
right.
now, and it's grabbing more moisture, more nutrients. Your plants are going to grow a lot faster. So we're looking pretty good. You've got the start of a few suckers over here. We talked about that the last time. You see right here, this is a leaf that grows in between a side branch and the main stem. If left unchecked, these will become as big as the main stem. They will suck energy away from the production of the tomatoes. So I always just pick them off when they're young, throw them back in the dirt, recycle it. That plant's good to go. Looks good. No signs of slugs.
Okay.
We're in really great shape.
Moving down.
Now we're moving down here, and this is where I got to say we kind of got off.
Sorry about the bumpy camera.
That's all right. We kind of got off track here a little bit with our lesson from last time. So
okay.
What we got is, it looks like, probably based on the spacing, we've got sweet onions going here.
That's correct.
All right. So one of the things you can do with onions is that a lot of people like to pick them when they're this size, and they're called scallions. You know, you can eat them. But you can take these little onion sets. They sell them in a little bag. There's probably like 150 to 200 of them in a bag. And what you can do is, when you're planting them, as we were talking last time, I'm going to grab some props here. And if the camera can see, like if we pretended these were little bulbs of onions, I would actually plant these like this, just that close to each other. You can plant about 100 in a square foot.
Are you kidding me? I didn't know that. They
Yeah.
said to space them out.
So you grow them 100 in this square foot, right? And they're all going to come up. They're going to look like what you have right here. And it's like, okay, well, I want some scallions for my salad, or I want to put it in some wedding soup. So what I do is then I pick every other one. Now I've left space in between. Now the space will, as these get bigger, it'll get closer. And now later I'm going to want a little bit more onions. I want to dice up for some hot dogs on the grill. So now I'll pull out, now they're this big, I'll pull out every other one again. And eventually you get to this spacing.
Oh, wow. Very clever.
But in the meantime, you've harvested it about 4 times.
Right.
Right there.
Okay, so again, these are these tips that we need. What else do we got over here now?
But here's the thing about where we kind of got off. These are cucumber plants.
Right.
They're not going to grow up off the ground like the zucchinis are. They're going to stay low to the ground, but they're going to completely take over this space. In about 30 days, they're going to drown out these onions in sunlight. They're not going to get any. They're going to be covered. And these onions, for you to pick the big ones that you're looking for, you're looking about 90 days. I'm going to tell you that you're not going to get your onions.
So I guess I'll pick those early.
I think you're going to pick these early.
Okay. So. All right, so on the other side here.
Okay.
Okay, what do we have here?
I love kind of what we've got. We've got broccoli, right?
Right.
And it's looking really healthy, but you got to watch for those very cute white butterflies that come around.
Okay.
Those aren't really butterflies.
What are they?
Well, they're really kind of more of a moth than a butterfly, but they're called cabbage butterflies. Broccoli's in the cabbage family. They will land on here, and you'll think that, oh, how cute they are, but what they're doing is they're laying eggs, and the eggs look like they're green, and they're very tiny. They're like sprinkles on a cookie. They're that small. And when you see them, you need to wash them off. That's the natural way to deal with it. Just take a little, I use like a spritzer bottle, and you put it on a fine spray, and you zap them, and it washes the eggs off.
Oh, wow.
And they just fall on the ground. They won't do anything.
Okay.
But if you let them mature and hatch, they'll turn into little green caterpillars that are the exact color of these leaves.
And they eat them?
Oh, yeah. And you'll wake up one morning and your plant won't have any leaves.
Oh, geez.
And then you know you got a problem. So you got to watch that. If you see the white butterflies flying around, you know that you better be checking your broccoli. Anyway, this is the green comet variety, which means it pretty much just produces a head that we buy at the grocery store. You know, we like that. But there are other varieties of broccoli out that aren't designed to grow the head, but they're designed to grow the smaller offshoots.
The little florets or whatever they call them.
When you probably got that broccoli head in the grocery store, you're going to cut it up into small pieces anyway. Why not just grow it that way? And what that variety does is it keeps growing all summer and keeps producing those little side shoots. You've put these with some yellow straight-neck squash, and again, like the zucchini that we talked about before, this is going to come to dominate this area. Now, I did tell you the last time about you can stake your zucchinis, and I'm going to tell you that's what you're going to want to do here. You're going to want to put a stick in and then tie the zucchini up and grow it vertically. An advantage that you'll get from that is you'll see these zucchinis or these squashes and they won't turn into baseball bats.
Right.
You'll see them right away.
Yeah.
But again, you got 2 seeds that were in each pack. You got 2 plants in each hill. That's going to be one too many. You're going to have to thin that out.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm going to have you back
good.
As we progress on this. I'm going to have you back so you can help me. So what else do we have, and then we'll wrap this up.
Okay, so lastly, we're back to some tomatoes, and you planted them the right way, and we've got the lettuce that's going in. And I should say that as you had on the other side with the lettuce, this is the oak leaf variety. But what you could do, Dom, is you could plant some other types of greens that grow well in the heat.
Right.
I know you're Italian, I'm Italian. You know, one of the things that we like at least I hope we do for traditional Italian, is we like dandelion. I don't know if you've ever had that.
I kill them.
No, not that kind of dandelion.
Oh.
The kind of eating dandelion.
Okay.
It's a dandelion green.
My grandma used to grow them all the time.
Oh yeah, and then they're great in salad. They're great fried with some onions and stuff like that. It's really good stuff, and it grows well in the heat. So you could get some dandelion seed, not the seed, the dandelion that grows in your yard. But I would look at in this space of planting some of that now, so that come July,
right,
you've got something to start harvesting with, because this lettuce will be you'll be eating this, and there's going to be a space available, right?
Okay.
I mean, at some point this is going to be eaten, and you're going to have an area there, and we're talking about what square footage that you have. We're talking about always finding something to produce in it. Keep it
Correct.
going. And that is just one example for the summer that you could go through. But your plants look great, and you're going to be looking at needing to stake these up.
How soon do I have to put stakes in?
Now.
What kind of stakes do I need to put in? Like medium rare steaks?
Yeah. Actually, no. What you're going to want, bamboo won't be big enough. It's going to have to depend on the style of the tomato that you got. But I look. Some of these are Roma tomatoes, so they only get about 4 feet tall.
Okay.
And you could just use, a small wooden stake that you hold up a 3-foot fence, just something about 3 feet.
Okay.
But on the other side of your garden, you had grape tomatoes, and those are going to be something that's going to grow
like cherry tomatoes.
Like cherry tomatoes, they're going to grow 8-10 feet tall. And what I was recommending to you, the camera can't see right now, but Dom's got a kind of an arbor that goes over this from one side of the garden to the other.
It would be kind of like this right here.
Yeah, and what you could do is where you've got those grape tomatoes planted, as they get 5 feet tall, then is to trellis them, wrap them around this beam. And I'll tell you, you mentioned about the kids. I can remember when mine were little and they were really watching this show called Dora the Explorer, and there was a character on there, Swiper. And Dora always said, "Swiper, no swiping." And that's what my kids would do, and that memory that you're talking about with your kids, is mine would go out to the garden in the tomato patch, and I had an arbor thing going like there, and every day they would go out there and start swiping them, and they would make me chase after them and say, "Swiper, no swiping." So your kids will love this if you give them an opportunity.
Well, listen, I know this is a little bit long, but this is part B of the gardening tip. We're going to do one more probably as the fruit starts producing. And I want to thank Pat for taking the time to come on out.
Thank you, Dominic.
And he is a green thumb. He's our administrator at North Canton City. Very talented fella. We appreciate his time. And again, this is a great learning aid for your family, friends, neighbors. I share this with my neighbor. And it's just a fun little community thing to help supplement your grocery bill, as well as just fun to eat fruits and vegetables that you grow yourself. So I appreciate you tuning in today. And if you want to see the other video, if you missed it, just click on the link below. Have a great day.